Hi there. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are all by the grace of Almighty Allah. So today we will learn about the two-dimension array or multi-dimension array. So let's continue. So here is the main structure of our programming, and then we can just create a variable as row and column. So just in row and call equals to 3. So here I have declared a row and column. So my row will be 2 and then column will be 3. So it's basically 2 into 3 matrix. Okay. So now declare an array. So declare an array, and then we have to declare the row and column. Okay. All right. So okay. So now we can initialize the array, means we can put the value into the array. So first of all, for input purpose, we have to use the row and column. So for the two rows, we have to count as 0, right? As we mentioned before from the one dimension array or the first class. So 0 0 equals to 2. Okay. So here first row and the first column, the value is 2, right? So now we can just copy 3 times 0 1 2. So firstly we initialize first row, first column, then first row, second column, then sorry, first row, second column, and then first row, third column. So as you know, array start from the 0, right? So here we can put the values. Okay, so our first row is done. Then we can just copy this one, and then we can create the second row, right? So second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column. So we can put the variable 6 7 and 8. So our value has been created, and then we can just print this array, right? So we can print this matrix. First of all, we can show a message like matrix is an indel. Okay, so we can print the whole things, right? So how to print the array? You have to mention the row, you have to mention the index, means row and column. So okay, okay, so our first row already we can print. Then we have to use the second one for printing the second column and second row, sorry. Yeah. So one. Okay, all right. So it's successfully run, right? So our first row, first column is 2 as we provided here, and then first row, second column is 4, and first row, third column is 5. So it has successfully run, right? So for this one, we can just run a loop, right? So how to run a loop? Okay, so it's simple, right? We can just ignore this one, and then for in okay int row equals to 0, then row is less than or equals 2, and then row plus plus. So last class we already print a shape, right? We we did this program, and so this is the similar as the previous. Just write column equals to 0, and then column is less than 3, and column plus plus, right? Okay, so here we can just simply say out this one A, and just we have to mention the rows and column, right? So done. Okay, before we have to print the gap also. Okay, so here you can print end line. So you can see it's successfully run, right? So here you can see the code is successfully run, and then we can take input, right? We can take input with the simplest way. So just remove this one, and then use the second bracket and also the second bracket, because there are 2 rows and 3 column, right? So we have to use the second bracket, and then 4, then 6, okay, then comma, and then another row. So uh, be careful when you input the number for the rows, because you have to mention the rows first, and for the first row this is the column, right? And then for the second row, okay, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we have mentioned already, and then we just run. Okay, so it has successfully run, right? Okay, so now we can take input from the user, right? How to take input from the user? It's also simple. Just run this loop. Okay, column, and here supposed to be C in, right? C in, and no need here. So we can print a message here. C out, enter input for the matrix. Okay. So yes, done. So we can just run this code. Here is okay. Okay, so run this code. Okay, so here you can see 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, right? So you can see successfully run. Okay, so we can modify this code, like when we take the input we can identify which row and which column. So what we have to do, just we write a message here, cout, okay. So okay, it's look now perfect, and then we can just 1, 2, 3, and then we can put one more end line, cout, and L. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then second row, 2, 3, 4, and see it has successfully worked, right? Then so here what we have done, we just print a message and we just create a loop, and here for the rows, and we just create another loop for the columns. So here we have uh, print a message for the a and then row and column. So here we count from the row, right? Row 0, column 0, like this. Okay, so here we take the input from the user. Okay, all right, so we already learned how to take input for the two-dimensional array, and also the multi-dimensional array is the same, right? Okay, let's continue the addition of two matrix. So now we learn how to add two matrix. We already learned how to take input from the array and how to print the output. So here we can put a comment, right? Take input for the array, and here we can comment another one, print the array. Okay, so now we can add two array. So we can just simply copy this one and paste. And so here I have created three arrays. So we will add a and b and put the result into c. So it's simple, right? So what we have to do, just copy this thing for the 3 times and then paste. Okay, so here enter the input for a matrix, for a matrix, for b matrix. Okay, so we'll take for the matrix b, right? Okay, a, b. Okay, let's copy this one, paste b. Okay, so now we can continue. Okay, right, 4 5, then 6 7 8. Okay, then 1 3 9 and 4 7 8. Okay, so here you can see the a matrix and also the b matrix. Now our work is to add this a and add this b, so put the result into c, right? So here we can give another like /n. Okay, all right, so how to do this? Print a matrix, and here print the b matrix. Okay, all right, so here we can get another comment, addition of the two array. Okay, so how to add these two array? Just copy this one and paste it here. So non-add this tab. Okay, so here supposed to be c row column equals to a row and column. So here we have add this row and column, and addition already done, so we have to print the matrix C, right? So done, print the matrix C. Okay, so far it's okay, and then just run. Okay, so 1 3 5 7 9 11, and then 2 4 6 8 10 12. Okay, so here you can see the matrix A, matrix B, and the sum of the matrix is here, right? So what we can do, we can just simply print a message here. Okay, cout addition sum of the matrix A plus B, right? So okay, oh, okay, let's continue. Okay, then 1 3 5 7 9 11, and then 0 2 4 6 8 10. Okay, so here you can see it's successfully run, right? Sum of the matrix A plus B, and here you can see 0 plus 1 is 1, and 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 plus 4 is 9, and so on, right? So now we will learn how to multiply the array, two-dimension array, how to multiply the two matrix. So what we have to do, first of all, we have to see the logic, right? How to multiply the two matrix. Okay, so for the matrix multiplication, we have to know about the logic, right? So how to multiply this one? Multiply. Okay, so how to multiply this one, right? So we have to count this row into column, right? So here you can see 1 into 5, and then plus 2 into 0, right? So it will be the first row, first column for the matrix, right? And then similar row 1, and then column 1, right? So how we calculate row 1 column 1 and row 1 column 2, right? And then row 2 column 1 and row 2 column 2. Okay, so this is the logic, and so how we can implement this in the code. Okay, so let's move to the code. Okay, now we will learn the multiplication of two matrix, right? So first, as the same before, we can just declare three arrays. We can declare the three array, and initially we mention the rows is 5 and column is also the 5. All right, okay, so here supposed to be B, and here supposed to be C. So we will take first matrix and then second matrix, and we will multiply A and B and put the result into C, right? So we have to, I want to take the input from the user as a row, so and then column, right? Row 1 column 1, and then row 2 column, sorry, C2, right? Okay, so first of all we have to C is the row and column first matrix, row is equals to second matrix, column is it or not. Okay, so we can just write get input for matrix A. Okay, see out, we print a message, enter the row and column for matrix A, right? And then we can take input row 1, column 1 from the user, and then similar thing for matrix B. Okay, so here supposed to be row 2 and column 2. Okay, now we can create a condition while C1 is not equals to R2. Okay, then if it will run unless R2 is not equals to C1, right? Okay, then we can print a error message, error rows of column A must be the similar of column B. Of matrix B. Okay. And so here we can put this again. Okay, so now let's run. Okay, so for instance I put the value and then 2 3, right? So you can see the error rows of the matrix A must be the similar of column of matrix B. So for instance if I put 2 3 then 3 2, it will work, right? Okay, all right. So now we can take the input from the user for matrix A for matrix A. Okay, so how to take input from the user? Just as before, see out, enter input for matrix A, enter, and then we have to create a loop for int row equals to 0 and row is less than R1, and then row plus plus, right? And then create another loop to take the column equals to 0, and then equals to column is less than C1, and then column plus plus. Okay, so C in equals to row and column. Okay, for the previous example we already declared this one, right? Okay, then same loop we just paste here. The for matrix B is supposed to be B. So our input, picking input is done. Now we can print matrix A and matrix B, right? For int is similar. Backslash t. Print for the matrix B, right? So here we can print an end line handle. Handle. Okay. The matrix B A B. Okay, now we can check. Okay, so for the size is for the matrix A, row is 2 and then column is 3, and then for the second is 3 rows and 2 columns, right? Then okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so here we can add one more space before taking the input. Cout custo window. Okay, so let's run 2 3 and 3 2. Okay, 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. So here you can see the first row's values and the second row's values, right? And input for the matrix is supposed to be B. Input for the matrix B. Okay, so let's run the code. Okay, the size of the rows is 2, size of the column for matrix A is 3, and then size of the rows for matrix B is 3, and size of the column is matrix 2, right? Okay, so here we can input 1. So here you can see the row for the values for the first row, values for the second row, right? Okay, as you can see, it has successfully run, right? For the matrix A is 2 row and 3 column, and for the matrix B is 3 rows 2 column, right? So now our work is to multiply this one. So the logic is simple. So what we can do, just write a comment: multiplication of 2 matrix, right? So the logic is simple, right? How to multiply, right? We have to create a new variable named sum, and then first matrix, first rows, first column into, sorry, into second matrix, first rows, first column, right? Plus first matrix, first row, second column into second matrix, second row into first column, right? So this is the basically logic, and we have to put the sum values in sum plus first matrix, rows into I, and then into second matrix, column into column I, right? So what is I here? I is the multiplication, right, for the first rows. Okay, then we can put the values C row and column equals to sum. Okay, done. So what we can do, we can comment out this one, right? This is the logic. Okay, now we can create a loop, and rows equals to 0 and row is less than r1. Here r1 is taking input from the user, right? And then row plus plus. Okay, so another loop for the column, int and call equals to 0, then call is less than column 2's and call plus plus. Okay, then we have to create another loop for multiplication, right? For int I equals to 0, I is less than C1 column 1, and then I plus plus and we can simply put this value, right? Okay, Here supposed to be I and then column and then column. Okay, all right. So our multiplication done, and we can put the values C rows and column equals to sum, right? We put the value sum here, and then we reset the index. Okay, sum equals to 0, then it will go again and again, right? So if we don't reset the index, then it will count as a previous one also, so we have to reset this one. Now we have done, and we have to print the value for C. It's simple, just copy this one and then paste, print the matrix for C. Okay, C supposed to be row 1 and column 1. Okay, all right, we can print a message, another message like cout multiplication of two matrix A into B, right? And then int L, sorry, int L, and then cout custom C. Okay, so far our code is done. Now let's run the code. Oh, okay, we have to initialize the sum first. Okay, just initialize here sum equals to 0. Okay, okay, so let's run the code. And row is 2, column is 3, and then for the matrix B, row is 3, column is 2. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, all right, so you can see for the matrix A is 2 rows 3 columns, and matrix B is 3 rows 2 columns. So here 1 into 1 1, and then 2 into 3 is 6, and then 3 into 5 is 15. So 15 plus 6 plus 1 is equals to 22. So it is successfully executed, right? Okay, all right, so thank you so much for watching.